Radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Rapid Fire Common Response for January 18th to the 24th. These are some reasonably interesting comments from that time period. Bellstar. The quartering is so greedy and annoying, probably the worst YouTuber I still watch sometimes. Wait a sec. Greedy and annoying. Okay. But then you still watch him sometimes. The fuck is going on here? When people come by here and they say, you know what, that guy is greedy and annoying, but you know what, I still watch him sometimes. Is it just that bad on YouTube? I mean, there's better options, Bellstar, right? Is that why the quartering has so many subscribers and so many people go to the channel? Whatever it is he's doing, is there so few people doing that? Is that the case? Right? Whatever the fuck it is he does, let me know. I'll become the Rickering and I'll do it 10 times better. Right? Give people better options. Jeez, how sad is that? Matt Dragon, by the way, thanks for reminding me about this. I just unsubscribed from this lovely person. You're a class act, Matt Dragon. Class act, you know? The fact that you would say that in such a nice way, you know? The quartering, I'm going to have to subscribe from you, you lovely person. Wow, that's really nice. You're a class act. But that's a good move on unsubscribing from that guy right there. Gray Fox. Wow, that's a new low. The winner will be one of his sock accounts. Talking about that contest a quartering had last year. There's this YouTuber, Rune Mamba replied to that. There's a YouTuber named Kid Smooth who did something similar. And yeah, coincidentally, it was always one of his friends that won the giveaway. I wonder if people caught on to that, right? Always one of the friends that win the giveaway. Well, how's that work exactly, right? You know, because if it's random and fucking con men, I tell you, con men and women. YouTube is full of them, right? That's just one example there, Rune Mamba. I'd go into detail on that, but Radical Rapid Fire, Radical Rapid Fire. Trey Tucker, wait, play longer, slow videos at faster speeds to get through them quicker? God damn it, it's genius. I feel like I've wasted so much time, laugh out loud. You know, right now, their head's exploding because they're going through this really fast, right? And I'm trying to go fast, right? But, I don't know. It's a good move, especially on the quartering, right? You got to triple or quadruple that speed right there to get him to normal voice. My God, what a slow talker. The Winged Avenger. John is a nice guy, but why has he deleted the MGR link from his channel? Talking about John Riggs. On every channel, there's a tab called Channels that basically shouts out other channels. Riggs doesn't have any channels up there anymore. MGR, on the other hand, has John Riggs and all the other members of the MGR crew, which publicizes those channels even further than he already has done by featuring those guys as guests. So MGR made John Riggs what he is today by featuring him several times as a guest on his channel, and he features a link to Riggs' channel as well. I would think it would be a good idea for Riggs to offer his viewers a link to MGR's channel. Weird that he pretends MGR doesn't exist. Again, these are weird comments. Like that first comment? Okay. Maybe Riggs... maybe he's doing a good thing by not telling people about MGR. Why should he link to MGR's channel? I mean, we're talking about Metal Jesus. Why should he do that? Weird that he pretends MGR doesn't exist. I think a lot of us would like to pretend that Metal Jesus wouldn't exist. I think, right? I mean, I get it. I mean, this guy's not squeaky clean, but, in general, Winged Avenger, compared to Metal Jesus, this guy's a freaking saint. Riggs is a freaking saint. Christian VS. Smart thing to do was keep James and Mike Mondays going. I like to be optimistic, but it's likely going downhill from here because that was the glue holding it all together. AVGN wouldn't have survived without James and Mike Mondays, in my opinion. Well, that ran from 2016? Over almost how many? 400 episodes, I think, right? Because the nerd episodes, they slowed down. Didn't do that nearly as much as I used to. And that was kind of like a glue holding things together, you would say? I don't know. I mean, towards the end, James and Mike Mondays, they had celebrity guests on there. They had Gilbert Gottfried with the tiger thing, and that was terrible. The one with Macaulay Culkin, I remember not being that good. I don't know if it's the glue holding things together. I mean, many people have come by here and they said Mike is the glue holding AVGN together, and it might not survive without Mike. But, they got rid of Bootsy. They got rid of, Kyle, the guitar guy. Now they got rid of Mike. So the thing is, as long as I have James, I guess the figure is like, well, it'll still keep going as long as they have James. But if James goes away, then then totally it wouldn't survive then. But we're talking about surviving and thriving. I don't know. It's interesting to see. I mean, either way, I probably won't give a shit either way if it doesn't. But, a lot of you might. Dumez, you need to read the RMS watt rating. I had a 500 watt one time, but RMS was 280 watts back in the day. That's truthful, right? Usually on an amp, any car amplifier, it's going to be actually half as powerful as what it says. So if somebody says, hey, they have a 1,000 watt amp, I'm like, yeah, it's probably like around 500 watts, something like that. Unless it's maybe a JL Audio or something like that. Then if it actually reads a certain watt, then yeah, Alpine, JL Audio, Kicker, those amps, if they state a wattage, then yes, the higher quality brands generally don't lie and fib about that stuff. Well, my head's about to explode. Another Doom-ass comment. I have been seeing this new trend. A bunch of the usual suspects are now posting videos with under 1 minute, and some put the tag #shorts in it. What the fuck is this new movement? I don't know. It's really silly. It's really silly because I would rather people just kind of put together like a lot of shorts, because the thing about this is I don't think YouTube is really the place for like a 15, 16 second upload. Whereas like different like social media and stuff like that, then yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about it. It just seems like really kind of lame, especially if it's something that, let's say if someone hasn't uploaded in a couple days and then they upload a 15-second Mario mushroom tip, that's just kind of lame. But if it's in the context of like, well, there's a lot of uploads that day, then that's not too bad. But people anxiously awaiting, and they get the notification and they're like, well, what the fuck, that's about the same time it took me to scratch my ass. John Towner, they are not friends now. That's my opinion. They have been growing apart for years. I see that as a function of their disparate personalities, talking about James and Mike. Unfortunately, James is cutting the proverbial fat from the operation and having given Mike an opportunity to reach viewers by placing his streaming videos on Cinemassacre was a big red flag for me. That Mike is being given a chance to take something useful with him as James does what is probably being suggested to him from Screenwave and attempts to create a legacy that's larger than him. It's a shame because we all know Mike deserves some of that action too. People grow apart. It's natural. A lot of truth there. And this comment right here, here's what we're going to do. This is probably something I could do a standalone upload on. So, John Towner, I'm going to ask people, give your thoughts in particular to this comment in the comment section down below. All right? And maybe I'll take some of your comments and we'll do a standalone, possibly. How about that? Wes T. Agree, I wouldn't collect them. No appeal at all. I collect CDs, video games, and coins. Well, you're talking about the those stupid things, the Funkos. Yeah, I agree on that. I just don't see the appeal because they all like have the same mold, and it's like they're not even unique. There's nothing unique about them, and sometimes they look horrifying. CDs, video games, and coins. Coins, that's kind of an interesting thing, right? Because you get coins from different areas, and that's a conversation. Like, hey, look at this coin I got from this year and this country or whatever. Or going to a different country and bringing back some of their currency and showing it off. That's kind of always an interesting thing. Jack Perillo. Rick, what are your favorite Final Fantasy games? Let's see here. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. And Final Fantasy 13. Just kidding. Final Fantasy 7. DJ Crispy Fingers. Games with mold. I love it. That should, certain months, yeah, when they have like crap for games with gold. And the thought that they would want to raise the price. Already, games with gold can be shit some months. The offerings. And then they're going to raise the price? Fuck that. Zeke. Economic student here equals... Inflation hasn't affected... Economic student here. Inflation hasn't affected games yet. In fact, even after the inflation, the profit of $60 games have gone up 30% as most games are digital, so no vendor cut. In fact, Microsoft have Azure servers own, and Sony has to pay for it. $70 games were also a bad idea. Yeah, $70 games are a bad idea. They're just trying to they're just fucking greedy is what it is. Because, that's a good point there. If a lot of games are being bought digitally now, then the profits go up because there's no producing that. There's no game case, there's no disc, right? So you could even make a fucking argument. Maybe they should be $50 or $55 now. You could definitely make an argument for that. Anime Wolf Gamer. Funko Pops to me are just a scam in general. Nintendo's Amiibos has way more fucking effort, and even if they're not as popular as before, you can still tell who the characters are and a lot of details put into these. They still have Amiibos. Like, I know they're not as popular. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I think the Amiibos are a little overpriced for what they are. There is detail in them, but like a lot of Nintendo's products and games, I think they're a little overpriced in general. And like I said, the Funko Pops, I think it's a scam because it's just, they're created, they're mass produced because they know the quality is crap, but they just want people to collect and collect and collect. And unlike something that actually has substance or value or some really heart put into it, no, it's just, it seems like a scam to me, right? Sean Appenzeller, paying for friendship, you can do that in real life and get burned the same way. Yeah, that's a good point, right? To a lot of people that are giving money to people online to make online friends, you know what? You can give money to people, or, you could just, I don't know, like, take that same money, and e-beggars are going to hate this. Take that same money, and you don't even have to directly give money to people. Just say, hey, man, I'll go out, buy a couple beers or whatever, right? Go to a bar, buy a couple beers and whatnot. Yeah, a couple beers is pretty cool, right? And, making friends, or you can save the money up, if you're desperate and, get yourself Lady of the Night, right? I mean, just think all the hundreds of dollars you're spending, giving to these YouTubers, right? Just go ahead, take that money and, make sure to wrap it up, though. Next up, we got Juiced Mitch Morial. IO always does a good job in their games, other than Kane and Lynch and Hitman contracts. I would love to play this game if Amazon ever gets it in stock and ships it. They take a pre-order and don't stock the game. What a waste. Cyberpunk is a bad joke at this point. It was half off already the other day. Half off? Half off? Where was Cyberpunk half off, right? I don't know. Is that a good deal? Leave it in the comment section down below. $30 for Cyberpunk. I'm guessing it's the PS4 and Xbox One version. Hey, is that a good deal? $30 for Cyberpunk? Rusty Shackelford. Stupid people. People can do whatever they want with their channels. It's their channels after all. They can decide what they want to do with it, not you. Also, stupid people. Why don't you go do something else instead of talking about other YouTubers? You're just spewing hate. Stop criticizing people and go do something else. Great point. Great point, Rusty. I think you're the first person in years that's brought this up. All these people that come here and they say, like, who are you? Who are you to tell people what they can and can't do? Like, motherfucker, who are you to tell me that I can't criticize and talk about YouTubers and point out some of the things that I think they can improve on in their channels to make their channels and make themselves, in many cases, better? The fuck? Immortal Ugly Fish. Yup. Nothing but good memories with Mike. It's so bizarre the way James says, I wouldn't have time to make AVGN if it weren't for Screenwave. What the hell else are you doing? I understand taking care of your kids takes a lot of time, but he acts like he can't put in 8 hours a day working on his craft. Well, not even 8 hours a day, because he doesn't upload daily on the channel, right? I mean, look at me, right? And, this is not like the highest quality stuff, right? It's basically just me talking over a thumbnail. But you know what? I put it in daily. And the thing is, like, I didn't get an answer. I did not get an answer. As people told me, like, hey, James works hard. James works hard, and I'm like, okay, what exactly is his day job? What does he do for a living? No one. Crickets. Fucking crickets. He takes care of his kids. Okay, so he has 2 kids he takes care of. Isn't there a period of time where they're, like, sleeping? They're not awake all the time. I mean, and, there's SpongeBob. Put him in front of the TV. Like, are they attached to him at the hip? Like, I'm sure he has time for other things. He just, so that's just a cop-out. It's a cop-out, right? Because it'd be one thing, like I said, if he actually had a full-time, 40-plus hour a week day job and the kids, but he doesn't have that. So, like I said before, and everyone listen close, when he says he doesn't have time, it means he doesn't have time for AVGN and the channel. All right, that's why he leans on Screenwave to basically set the table for him, and then he just shows up and reads some lines. Next up, Dumez. Hitman 3 from Dreamcast Guy got an 8.5 out of 10. That means it's a half a point worse than the freaking unplayable Cyberpunk, which got a 9 out of 10. Interesting. Yeah, people should go by Dreamcast Channel and bring that up. Every time he gives something a less than a 9, tell them that, oh, okay, hey, whoa. Unplayable games get a 9 out of 10. So pretty much I think almost everything should get a 10 out of 10 on Dreamcast Guy's channel from now on. Wouldn't you say? Tron Razorblade. I don't get hyped about any movie, game, album. I notice something anytime I get hyped about it, anytime of media, I get extremely disappointed. I have a better time with releases when I don't get excited for it, or the outcome aftermath is a better experience. Generally, yeah, it's much better to be pleasantly surprised than to be let down. Like there's a TV show I've been watching from the makers of Rick and Morty. And many people after watching Rick and Morty might say, you know what, this show's not as good as it's hyped up to be. But Solar Opposites, that's an interesting show. Actually, there's some things about Solar Opposites, surprisingly, I like a little more than Rick and Morty. So I didn't give much a thought to that show, but it's pretty interesting. MCVZS, I never found what's so metal about him when he's into glam rock. Yeah, I don't really get it. And I brought this up when I saw him on a bike throwing the devil horns. Just something about the way he looked on the bike, wearing the goofy bike helmet, I just it didn't strike me as metal, what would I think about metal? Let's see. How about that one guy, Danzig, right? See, how would that song go? Do you want to bang heads with me? I can show you what it's like. That's not metal. Metal Jesus is ironically not metal.